Religion is this idea that if you do everything the right way, God will love you more. You know what I'm saying? And we take that into our relationships. Yep. If you do everything the right way, people will love you more. And it stresses you out and makes you feel like you got to be perfect when nobody can be perfect. And so faith is the idea or the belief that you're lovable, you're valuable, even if you don't get it right all the time. Passion and purpose are connected. You know what I'm saying? So you're made with a purpose. I know a lot of folks, I don't know what people believe out there, but if you think you just a bunch of random molecules or a cosmic accident, then you don't have any purpose. Like, do what you're passionate about, but do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because your passion may not be your paycheck. Like for a long time, you know, I had to work, you know, a regular job until what I was doing really did provide for me. I wake up every day like excited about, all right, how do I do that today?
Pay attention and listen, we about to teach class. Inside the vault, my man Ash Cash. So get your man right. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. You see him, change your life. Millionaire mindset, the best on earth. Blueprints of wealth, the knowledge network. So get it while you can, and he's standing right here. Just come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.
All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the entire planet. When I keep telling y'all, we keep bringing y'all heat after heat. I'm excited about this interview. We have the multi-Grammy award winning, platinum selling, best-selling author, entrepreneur, speaker, thought leader, philanthropist, co-founder of a record label, investor, buying back the... Yo, listen, when I tell you we got some heat, we coming in hot. My man Lecrae in the building. What's up, brother?
What's going on?
Yo,
man?
Brother, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here with us. Because I think your career is just so expansive, but what you do in the community, who you are, is just so empowering. But before we go there, for those who don't know, who is Lecrae?
Yeah, man, I'm end of the day, I just try to be, you know, who I was made to be. You know what I'm saying? I can't be nothing else but that. So I try to stay low, stay grounded, keep my hands on the plow, keep moving forward. You know, I'm the individual who wants to see everybody win. You know what I mean? So how can I get wins for everybody? You know what I mean? That's just really how my mama raised me. So yeah.
No, I love that. I love that. And I read somewhere where you said that you are too hip hop for gospel, right? And you're too with gospel for hip hop. It was something along those lines.
Yeah.
You know, talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, like, it's so funny. I was just in the store today, and the dude was like, "Yo, man, I know you. Oh, you do gospel, right, or something like that. But do you know anything about rap or whatever? Can you give me some advice?" And it's funny because I'm always like, the truth be known, I'm a product of hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? I just am a product of hip hop that had a spiritual transformation. So in the same way, you know, like a Mos Def Mayor or Lupe or whoever, you know, started diving deeper into their faith. That's really just me, but instead of like on the 5% of the Muslim side, it's on the Christian side. You know what I mean? So, but the church is like, the gospel industry is like, wait, you really, really hip hop though? Like you, like I saw you pull up with some gang members. Like I'm like, yeah, but I mean, how they gonna know health and, you know, better if I don't? But then the streets sometimes with hip hop is like, oh, where your choir robe at though, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just this weird thing where I'm like, they just got to see it to get it.
And then how do you maneuver that? Because, you know, I've you know, you are definitely hip hop, right? So there's no real differentiation. Like when you listen to your music, like you're definitely that. You barred up, right? But I guess, you know, how do you maneuver where, you know, as a student of the game, right? It's obvious you're a student of the game, right? Because you don't have the you know what I mean, you don't bounce on beats and, you know what I mean, you don't do that without, you know what I mean, you can't, you know what I mean, you have to be a student of the game. But then you know, you're really connected to your faith. And so that middle ground where you're almost like an outsider on both spectrums. How do you maneuver that? How does that, you know?
You gotta create your own world. You know, you literally gotta create your own world where it's like, you know, where you know that there's people who rock with you, and you know that there's an audience who appreciates what you do, and you just gotta own it. You know what I mean? Until it grows, and that's how movements happen. It's organic. That's why we've been able to, you know, have a label and have multiple artists, is because there's a movement behind it. It's like what you saw with Our Future, and it's like people scratching their head like, who listens to this? And it's like, well, they know, and they gonna stick to what they doing. So it's the same with me. It's just like, man, y'all just gonna have to look at the results. I can't sit here and hold your hand and get you to understand it on either side. Like, you know, hey, gospel, I can't make you get what you don't get. Hip hop, I can't make you get what you don't get. But just come to the show. Right. You know what I mean? And see it for yourself. And then it's like, this is something different. 3
million records sold. Now you understand us.
Yeah. You just gotta figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. And so take me back to the genesis though of Lecrae. Like the how did you get to the multi-Grammy award winning, platinum selling? Like how'd you get there?
All right, so I didn't grow up in church for real. So I really, that's what I always tell people. Like, I don't understand the whole church culture because I didn't grow up in it. My mom was a free thinker. I went on a journey myself. I love hip hop. I grew up in it, listened to rap music since I was knee high. And I went to school in Texas, and, you know, I went to a conference. You know, it was like a Christian conference. And it was there when I was like, yo, this, like, I see myself here. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, y'all not weird, y'all ain't suits and ties, so I don't have I'm not triggered by that. I don't see like the big bishop with the gloves and the spit your gum out. Like, I just see people who look like me when I think about the church or whatever. So I saw that changed my whole perspective, my attitude, my spiritual transformation, you know what I'm saying? My character, everything changed. But when I would go to the Bible studies, I'd be like, man, the music kind of lame though. Like, I can't get with this, you know what I'm saying? So what am I supposed to listen to? So I was like, well, I'm gonna just make the music that I would want to listen to. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, I got a song. Y'all need a theme song? Let's make a song. Like, just do it like this. This is what this. And then, you know, sometimes, a lot of times Christians don't listen to the radio and stuff like that. I was like, yo, y'all a little bit behind the times. You know, right now, Lil Jon popping. Y'all got nothing to sound like Lil Jon. Well, let's craft that up. You know what I'm saying? And then that's just really what happened. And I started signing my homeboys, and, you know, as people's lives would be changed, you know, I was grabbing people out of prison and just doing different things. And it started like a literal movement, you know what I'm saying? And it just, people was like, oh, where can I get the CD? I'm like, yeah, you can go to the bookstore. They go to the bookstore, they buy one. I send like 20 people to the bookstore. They're like, yo, we need more. And it just kept going on and on.
All right, y'all, you already know my man Dave Anderson is definitely helping entrepreneurs get amazing levels of success. Yo, he's helped his clients generate over $118 million in 2020 during the pandemic. And then now you can get unprecedented access to him and his team with his program, Bully One-on-One. You're going to learn business from one of the best business coaches in the world for less than the cost of your cell phone bill. So here's what you're going to get. You're going to get a digital membership card that entitles you to get free access to the Business Bully virtual events and online workshops, unlimited access to their exclusive digital university with hours on demand, with business knowledge at your fingertips, zero fluff, no BS, monthly private masterminds with Dave and his team. You'll get special celebrity guest mastermind sessions. You'll learn business, all of the things that you need to take your life to the next level. All you got to do, look, enroll now at bully101.com, bully101.com. Let's get it. All right, let's get back to the show. Nice. And then, you know, what's that feeling like when you, or when was that first time that you felt like, yo, they respect me now, I made it, like, yeah?
2013 BT Cypher. I was in the Cypher, and it was like, they really didn't even know what category to put me in. They put me with like foreigners. They was like, I don't know what to do with this dude. So they put me with the foreigner. I'm in there with the French, the like British rappers, like it's like, and then they got this Lecrae in the mix to that. And so I'm in that joint, and I think just people's expectations was just like low. Right. And I remember I spazzed, DJ Premier. I'm like, I'm rapping on a Premier beat. I'm about to go crazy. I'm about to spazz on y'all. So I spazzed on the beat.
Texas too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Texas,
yeah.
already.
You know,
So I'm like, man, I'm about to go crazy. So I would go crazy on the beat. And then and I just saw Twitter light up. You know what I'm saying? It was like Royce the 5'9", like, who is this kid, man? Da, da, da. All these people, like legendary people, you know, like giving acknowledgement, like, oh, this dude really got bars. Black Thought, like that's the people. So I was like, all right, we in here. You know what I'm saying? We really here.
Yeah. And then from that, you know, did it help propel your career? Did it help? Did it give you that extra oomph that you needed to keep going? Like, what did that do for you?
Yeah, that kind of like put me in a place where I was like, all right, we here now. What we gonna do next? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like your debut on the court. And you light them up for 20 and they like, oh, buddy got game. So what you gonna do next? What's your next game gonna be like? So for me, it was like, all right, the mixtape, everything was like, you know, and it was a constant chip on my shoulder because I'm always counted out, you know, sure. Like always counted out by either group. So it's always a chip on my shoulder to like, all right, next. And I think me having that chip on my shoulder made me make better music and made fans say, oh, the dude I like this music, you know, and then it's life transforming because I'm really trying to help people. I'm saying the things that people really typically don't say. You know, most people when they get out of prison, they write bars about how tough they are and like what they did. I would write the bars about missing mom and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man in your cell crying. And that's the type of stuff that I would be talking about. So it's like people connected with that in a real way. And it just kept growing.
And where does that? Because you have a passion for your community. I mean, you know I've seen pictures of you with gang members and like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so you have a real passion for the community. Where does that passion come from?
That's my upbringing, man. And it's like, you know, just not leaving your roots. But a lot of times, you know, people leave their roots and do better, but they don't bring anybody with them. Or they do better, but they don't teach people how to do better. They just bring them along, and it's like, you still got the same mindset you had, but I'm just gonna put you in a new environment. That don't get it. And then it's really from my mother. You know, my mom was, my mother and my grandmother, my mom, you know, was fed breakfast every morning by the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? So she always had a sense of the community and taking care of the community, and she really instilled that in me.
Wow. And I want to stay there for a second though, right? Because you know, I think a lot of people when they hear Black Panther, they only think about the violent part and the part that they show, but they don't talk about the 10-point, right? They don't talk about the 10-point program. They don't talk about taking care of the community. So can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to remember you have a bunch of leaders who are being, you know, picked off, like Martin Luther King and everybody. You know, a lot of these folks who started in the church, and they had a burden and a passion for the community, but they were like so big. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, man, you a pastor or a leader when you have the Black Panthers who was like college students, who was like young and vibrant, and they was in the community, and it was like, yo, I'm walking with these kids every day, so I know what they need. So they were strategic about developing their minds, strategic about helping them become entrepreneurs, to become readers, to understand the law, to understand their rights, to have breakfast every morning so that they could function. And so you know, that was the mindset that my mother grew up with. Is she grew up under that tutelage and was like, hey, this is, you know, you're gonna be a reader, you're gonna be a learner, you're gonna be an impactor. And the guns and whatnot was really only because they got cornered. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, we all had a right to bear arms, but when they corner you, it's like, well, now what am I supposed to do? But of course they can change the laws to where it fits their agenda. Absolutely.
And you mentioned a few times like mindset, right? And I'm glad you did, right? It's the greatest money mindset show on the planet. But we're inside the vault, and so when we say inside the vault, it's metaphorically, like we're literally inside the vault, but metaphorically though, you keep your valuables in here. How important is mindset, right, as it relates to your career, and because you've done phenomenal things, you know, how important is that? Is mindset?
It's everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because the way you see the world is the way you see yourself in the world is the way you're gonna function. Yeah. So if I see, you know, if I only see a piece of the picture on Instagram, then you know, I don't really have an understanding of who I am and how I fit into this. Like if you know, there's one thing that I used to always say this about, like I ain't gonna name the director or the actor, but a particular person who would make all these great movies about the hood, but would never teach us about how to make movies. You know what I'm saying? It's like you showing us a picture of our everyday life, but then you getting money off of it, but you're not showing us how we can get money in the same way. So anyway, all that to say, mindset is like, man, if I can get a hold of your mind, then I can take you a million different places. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, what am I focused on? You know, what's your mission? And if your mindset ain't your mission, you're not going to accomplish nothing.
Yeah. And so when you think about, you know, Lecrae and the legacy of Lecrae, what is your mission?
You know, holistically, man, it's to bring shalom, which is peace. And I feel like I'm put on this planet to bring peace to people, you know, whether that's through, you know, taking away problems, helping with problems, and bringing peace to people is bringing solutions. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes there's spiritual solutions and sometimes they're natural or physical solutions, but you know, a lot I'll be hearing like televangelist preachers and stuff, they be like, money cometh. And I'm like, well, yeah, money cometh, but job cometh first. You know what I'm saying? Work cometh, you know what I'm saying, before the money cometh. So it's that mindset of just like, I want to bring you peace, but if you don't know how to make money, then there's a stressor for you. I want you to laugh. How can I put on some of my comedian friends so that can bring peace to your soul in that regard? Spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Let me answer some questions. So for me, I just feel like that's my mission, is to bring peace. And then specifically like in the Black community, man, like we really hurting, we struggling still. And you know, we look good, but inside, you know, we got a lot of stuff going on.
Right. And I know you have, you know, one of your mission is around financial literacy, right? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so right now I just finished up a project with Experian. Basically what happened is like I helped start a school in English Ave in Atlanta in the Bluff. And then around the school, you know, I partnered up with some people to put some amazing looking apartments. Beautiful, but they're for people who make a certain income. So folks are like, yo, how can I live here? I don't make enough. Yes, you do, because we capped the income level. So you can afford it. The people who make more than you can't afford it. But the only way you can move in is if you take a financial literacy class.
Oh, I like that.
So then they take their financial literacy class and then they get to go in. Well, that spawned into partnering with Experian, helping, you know, hundreds of people keep their homes. And then we just decided to do a whole curriculum. You know what I'm saying? So now we created a curriculum called Protect the Bag, where we just teaching people how to, you know, protect their money and learn what debt is and learn like simple stuff that I feel like a lot of privileged families teach their kids, but it's like stuff that went over our head.
Yeah, and I want to stay right there though, because I love that initiative, right? You provide affordable housing at a price that, you know, it allows the low income folks who normally wouldn't believe that they could afford it into it. But in order for them to get into it, they got to take a financial literacy class. I think that's genius, because I think a lot of times, you know, we get to a space, you know, from a community perspective where we want to help. And sometimes charity could be paralyzing, right? Like if you just, you know, I mean, you know the term, you give a man a fish, you eat for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he's going to eat forever, right?
Always eating.
And so now you're saying, all right, this thing could be yours. This luxury, this abundance, that's your birthright. That could be yours.
Facts.
But I just need you to educate yourself, and then you'll get that. Yeah. I love it. And so I love that initiative. But then talk to me about you know, all of some of the other things you're doing in real estate, right? Because you know, God rest his soul, Nipsey Hussle was somebody that was on the forefront of buying back the block and, you know, reaching out to the gang members and showing them that, like, look, if you know the game, you could really, instead of really allowing gentrification to happen, where people are seeing your beautiful neighborhoods coming in and you know, pricing you out. You know, he was at the forefront of saying, listen, let's buy up the block. And then now we got Lecrae, who says, yo, I want to do something like that. I want to do that in Atlanta, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people, I say, man, like, think about it, bro. Like, Bumpy Johnson, right? You know what I'm saying? Or think about any Harlem drug lord.
Salute.
You know
to
what
my
I'm saying?
Harlem comrades.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Think about any of them, right? Did they do a lot for the community? Right. So how much more should Martin Luther King be doing if he a preacher? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Nip, God rest his soul, but he a rolling 60 Crip. He a full-fledged gangster.
Right.
And he doing all this for the community.
Right.
How much more should Lecrae be doing? You know what I'm saying? That challenged me.
Yeah.
He personally challenged me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my man is like, yo, if he out here putting in that type of work, then what am I doing sitting on my hands? So it was like, yo, come on, Craig, we got to step it up. And so Nip inspired me and challenged me to like, all right, how can I, not only own the block so I can say, look what I own, but how can I own the block and figure out how to use it for my community's sake? You know what I'm saying? So, so we just started, I started buying properties in the city, in the community, specifically like in historically black communities around Atlanta, especially those that are quickly getting gentrified and snatched up. And then figuring out ways to put, folks in them who need to know they still got dignity. You know what I'm saying? So we work with like veterans programs where it's like, it's been some African-American veterans who, just need quality living. Okay, cool. The vet, they're gonna pay for y'all to live here. We're gonna make sure you get priority. We put you here. So just buying some apartments, some duplexes, some quadplexes just around the city, and then figuring out ways to put people in them and commercial buildings, all of that, man. It's like, it's easy to make a dollar store, but what am I doing to really help the community thrive? You know what I'm saying? So.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Are you a coach, consultant, service provider, course creator, or expert that wants more clients to happily pay you $3K to $10K for your programs and services? If you answered yes, I have a special gift for you. It's from my guy, Marquell Russell, and it's called the Paid Ad Playbook, which shows you how to actually get 50 to 100 leads every single day that actually convert into clients. Marquell, he's used the same process to help clients create over $250 million in revenue. And this is more than $250 million. You heard me right. Some of the top influencers, coaches, and consultants in the world have used Marquell's strategies to build multi-million-dollar businesses, and they still use them on a daily basis. And the cool thing is that this works for you even if nobody knows who you are. So to get free access, go to InsideTheVaultGift.com or text VAULT to 904-447-5274. Again, that's InsideTheVaultGift.com or text VAULT to 904-447-5274. My guy's gonna take care of you. Let him know that Ashcash sent you. I love that. I love that. How do you manage it all, right? So you are, artist.
Yeah.
You are a record executive. You got your own label. Yeah. Your father, your husband.
Yeah.
You're an investor. You're like serial entrepreneur. How do you manage all of it?
I always tell people, if you're gonna be a leader, you can't be afraid to delegate. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times leaders get prideful and get arrogant and feel like they gotta do everything and they gotta be, look, I'm in it. It's like, man, if you train your people right and you teach them, responsibility, man, then you mentoring them to learn how to do stuff on their own. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just learn how to delegate. I took a kid who was an intern at my label. I made him my assistant. He went from my assistant to being on my management team because I wasn't afraid to delegate. I wasn't afraid to trust him a little bit more. You an intern, let me trust you a little bit more. Then he does well with that. Let me trust you a little bit more. Let me trust you a little bit more. So, man, I don't have a problem delegating and finding people and putting other people on. You know what I'm saying? I could have did all the real estate stuff by myself, but I got a homegirl who was a budding real estate agent. And I was like, yo, let's run this together. You know what I'm saying? And so putting her on and she can run with that ball and it helps build her enterprise and on goes a pattern. So you just got to learn to delegate.
Yeah. And I love that because in that delegation, you're empowering others to live in their purpose and live in their dreams, opposed to trying to, you know, hold everything together. Yeah,
I ain't got time to go crazy.
Yeah, and so, you know, because you said, you know, you said that you know, your mission in life is shalom, right? It's to help people with peace. You know, what are those things that you do for yourself that gives you peace? Because I know that sometimes a lot of givers are not really good at receiving, right? And so, you know, what are some of the things you do to stay in peace?
Yeah, I think for me, it's like it really is. I look at life like a bullseye, you know what I'm saying? Where like in the center, the dead center is my family. And so I put a lot of my energy into that bullseye. But then the second realm is like extended family and friends. It spreads out. Then the third is the community and the rest of the world. And so I get my peace when that center component really has attention. You know what I mean? So because I didn't grow up with like a healthy nuclear family. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, me and my kids, we out. We going to San Diego. We dipping and we having a vacation that I always dreamed I could have, you know what I mean? Because I never got to do nothing like that. So that brings me peace. It's like, yo, we just gonna go to the beach. You know, we just gonna chill on the beach all day. Y'all can boogie board, build sandcastles. It ain't even gotta be expensive. It's just the fact that we here together. And I'm like, man, that's something special for me. So I gotta always put that in my calendar on a regular basis. And just spending time with friends, you know, putting that on my calendar on a regular basis.
No, I love that. I love that. And you mentioned something about like your nucleus, and I saw a video recently of you meeting your dad, right? Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that experience.
It was wild, man. I didn't grow up with my pops. I met him one time when I was 9, and then he was gone forever. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I didn't know what it was. Obviously, you know, it's drugs, incarceration. I knew those things, but I didn't. In my mind, I was like, well, when you get out or when, you know, whatever, like, why you didn't show up? Yeah. And so I had a lot of questions, but I felt like in order to be a man, the man that I wanted to be, I had to at least see him before he died and just ask him face to face, like, you know, what happened? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I found out where he was living, got, you know, called my sister. My sister was like, let's roll. So we went, knocked on his door, you know, confronted him, you know, had a conversation, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I didn't expect it to go happy, joy, like I'm so sorry or none of that. I just wanted to be able to see his face before he died and ask him the questions I had. At least I could do that. Right. And I got to do that. And, you know, I mean, we still talk. It's not a perfect relationship, but we still talk, which is more than I had before I confronted him.
Right. And talk a little bit about like what impact did your life have growing up without your dad? Yeah,
I mean, obviously, man, boys need their fathers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Boys need their fathers because you trying to learn how to be a man, but there ain't no man around to teach you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of insecurities, you know, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do or how does this work? What is shaving? Or, you know, just little questions, you know, what's happening? I got hair, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what's going on right now? You know what I mean? Right. So there's nobody who can answer that for me. You know what I'm saying? Imagine like a single father, like, and your daughter just had her first, you know, cycle. Right. And it's like, you got to walk her through that. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And that's like, you don't really know, you know, but you don't know. Yeah. And so it was similar, like, so, you know, nobody at my games cheering for me, like none of that type of stuff. So it really left a, you know, bitter and anger, you know what I'm saying, with me. And I had to just get over that, you know, I had to heal and not just stuff all that stuff inside. Yeah.
And then did it, you know, growing up, did it result in, you know, you showing out?
Oh yeah, I was wild. I was a wild one, man. I was a wild one. But you know, I was always smart. Like I always tell people, like, you know, I was never like trying to pretend like I was a tough guy. I was a hustler and I knew that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't have to pretend I was tough because the tough guys was around me knew, you know, he's a hustler, you know, that's what he do. And so it was a respect. But yeah, I was always smart enough to know like, nah, that's too far. You know what I'm saying? I was always like, nah, I was peeping game. So, but I was always in trouble, you know, suspended, getting in trouble, getting police arrested, all kinds of crazy stuff, and I think a lot of that is just that pain.
Yeah. And so, what advice would you have, right, for anybody that's growing up in that situation? Because similarly, you know, I didn't grow up with my dad, kicked out of school a whole bunch of times and did some crazy stuff. And, you know, in hindsight, I realized that it was all, you know, that anger taking it out on other folks. You know, somebody's watching that, you know, is probably still going through it or has that pain. You know, what advice would you give to that person?
Man, I would say, first of all, you know, if you got a wound and it's infected, don't pretend like it's not, because it's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got wounds from your father or a parent that wasn't involved. Don't pretend they're not there. Yeah. Like go to a counselor, go to a therapist, sit down and talk through those particular things and understand, because a lot of times we don't know how they're affecting us because we can't see it. You know, we just living. But don't just stuff that stuff inside the closet, because it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out on your kids or your spouse or your girl or whoever. Like, that stuff is gonna show its face if you don't get it dealt with.
Yeah, no, I got that. Love that. And then, so you lost your religion but found your faith.
Facts.
Talk to me about that, man.
Facts. I mean, you know, like I said, man, a lot of times I would push back on a lot of like churchianity, is what I call it, like a lot of the religiosity stuff, because I don't come from it. So it's sometimes you need an outsider's perspective to look at it and say, what's that all about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember, you know, walking into a church and, you know, it was like, yo, what you got on? You got to take that off. And I was like, why? Like, where's that in the rule book? Like,
Yeah.
where's that at? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see that nowhere in the Bible. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, yo, these are just rules y'all got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why she can't wear pants?
Right.
You know, what's happening right now?
Right.
And what I think it is, man, is religion is this idea that if you do everything the right way, God will love you more. You know what I'm saying? And we take that into our relationships.
Yep.
If you do everything the right way, people will love you more. And it stresses you out. It makes you feel like you got to be perfect when nobody can be perfect.
Right.
And so faith is the idea or the belief that you're lovable, you're valuable, even if you don't get it right all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's really where I'm at now, is there's religion and relationship. I got a relationship with God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't gotta like fake it or act like I got it all together. I trust that, you know, as a Christian, I trust that, you know, Christ already paid the price for all of the errors in my life. I trust him. Me and God are good. I'm not trying to get my act together all the time,
Right.
you know, in order to be loved. And I tell my kids the same thing. I tell them, like, there's nothing you can do to make me love you less or love you more. Don't ever try to contend for my love, because that's not a good father.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
That's powerful though, right? Because like, you know, I think that there is, you know, Christian, Muslim, there's whatever the faith is. You know, a lot of times some religions make it seem like, listen, like you have to sort of, you know, act in a certain way in order to get, you know, this love, when, you know, the love is there. It's unconditional.
Right.
Yeah, you know, it's unconditional. And so was that the reason why you wrote the book, I Am Restored? Yeah.
Yeah, because I found myself trying to live up to these unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go wild out.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is that, like, yo, have a relationship with God, and you don't have to. There's questions you won't have to ask anymore. You know, I always liken it to, like, if I come home to my woman with some flowers and I knock on the door and I say, hey, how you doing? This is my responsibility to bring you these and tell you you're awesome. She gonna shut the door in my face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a religion. I'm being religious. Relationship is, I got a relationship with her. I enjoy bringing you flowers. I can't wait to see your face. Like, that's relationship. You know what I'm saying? So that's what God wants. It's not this ritual robot. You know what I mean? He wants like people with a genuine relationship. And then you gonna know what works and what don't work and what's right and what's not right. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I love that.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hold on, don't press that button, because that's what I do every time I'm looking at an ad that I don't want to see. This ad just happened to be life-changing. I just happen to own one of the biggest home healthcare companies in the state of Georgia. I can help you create your own. Just to give you a little bit of insight, I send out registered nurses, LPNs, and CNAs to take care of people inside of the homes that cannot take care of themselves. But guess what? You don't have to have any medical background, and you don't have to have any medical knowledge. So if you're wanting to change your life and you have a passion for actually taking care of people, then go ahead and sign up for Home Healthcare Blueprint. I'll see you guys later.
And so, talk about your label, like, your artists, like, what talk about this.
Yeah, so when we first got started, it was really just like me and my homies who was all like in the same boat like me, and there was this hunger for like, Christians who could rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, y'all really nice with it. And so we just said, yo, there's really a hunger for this out here. Let's feed the beast. You know what I'm saying? And let's keep the standard the same. No, because when I think of like Christian rappers, to me, Christian rapper is like white rapper. It's like you're more about your white than rap. You're more about your Christian than you rap. I like rappers who are Christian. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or a rapper who's white. Right, it's like you can spit, but you just so happen to be white. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can spit, but you just so happen to be Christian. Like you dope. Oh, you Christian. Right. Come on. I can rock with you. You know what I'm saying? Because you respect the craft and the culture, and you're not weird and corny. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's really what we've tried to create, and so people rock with them. Some folks don't even know these people. Like, oh, this is a Christian dude. Like, I didn't even notice that because dude is nice, or the song is great, and that's what we try to cultivate.
Yeah. When it's all said and done, what is the legacy of Lecrae?
Man, I just want my ceiling to be somebody else's floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to be able to say, man, everything's better. I already know, and this is not me being arrogant at all. Pioneers get all the criticism and none of the credit. I know I pioneered a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I know that there's certain artists who wouldn't be able to do what they doing had I not done what I done. I took a lot of licks. I took all the scrutiny and all the like people like side-eyeing me and all that crazy stuff for there to be certain things, and he wouldn't have no problem with me saying this, and this ain't no shade to him because he was doing this on another level before I was even thought of, but people don't blink an eye at Lil Baby and Kirk Franklin because I've made it a lot easier for that type of situation to happen. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, oh, people don't blink an eye at, Chance rapping about his faith through a whole project. Cause it's like, and I know he grew up listening to my music. I'm not saying I'm his influence, but I'm just saying like, that stuff is not as weird. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I'm grateful for that. Yeah. If I can keep y'all going, I don't want no credit. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I just want y'all to be able to find that peace, to be able to do what you was made to do.
No, love it. And so now, you are where you are. If I could take you back to 18-year-old Lecrae, what advice are you giving him?
Slow down. Yeah, I mean, just slow down. Like, patience. Yeah. Patience, and keep, consistency. Just be consistent and be patient. I think I was always consistent in terms of like, I'm gonna put the work in, but sometimes you don't see the results you want until way further down the line. So I think I would have wanted all the accolades and everything that has happened for me. I would have wanted it at 18, but I wasn't ready at 18. You know what I mean? So it's just like, be patient. It's coming. It's coming.
And so talk about that a little bit, right? Because I feel like there's this thing like young people who, I guess because we live in a generation where you have access to all of the highlight reels, right? So like, in the older days, you didn't really have that, right? And so, you knew that it took a certain level of grind and grit to get to star status. But now, all you have access to is like highlight reels, so people don't understand what it takes. And so a lot of these young people, like, they don't have that patience. So what is it? What are some of the things that are necessary for you to be ready for success?
Yeah, I mean, one, it's humility. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about like that false humility or like, oh no, I'm nothing, I'm nobody. But I'm talking about like the humility to listen and learn. The humility to say, well, you've been here before, tell me what I should do. You know what I'm saying? So one is humility, and then two is like, it's just wisdom that comes with you know, there's a difference between experience and exposure. Just because you've been exposed to it don't mean you got experience. You know what I'm saying? So you've seen it, but you don't really know what to do with that. You don't know what to do with that money. You don't know what to do with that influence. You know what I mean? So I think they want it, but they don't know what comes with it or what it takes. And so I would always tell like a lot of my younger artists who, like I took, you know, I just signed a kid, 1K for you, shout out to 1K. And I just signed him and I got invited to Diddy's party in LA. I took him with me. And I said, this ain't real. This ain't real. Don't get used to this, because this ain't real. This is a mirage. Because in his mind, he like, I'm on now. You not on. You still got to leave this house and grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you not on for real. So I'm like, I'll tell him, I say, you want the Gucci or the Louis bag, but you don't have the stuff it takes that goes inside of that bag. That's the effort, the hard work, the hours, the time, all of that stuff. So you carrying an empty bag around, bro. So that's really what I try to encourage him, man.
No, I love it. And then so now I got an entrepreneur who's looking to, you know, start a business, who has a lot going on. You know, with just getting out the pandemic. What advice would you say as a serial entrepreneur? What advice would you give an entrepreneur about how to be successful?
Being an entrepreneur, honestly, like, it's about research. You know what I mean? You gotta be a student of the game. You gotta research. Who do you see that's doing what you want to do? And look at how they got there. Don't just look at where they are and want to be there. Like, how did they do that? You know what I mean? So for me, I would tell them, like, be a student, always be learning, ask questions. You know, before I got into real estate, I would just play dumb with real estate agents and play dumb with like developers and all that type of stuff. And just, even if I heard it a million times, like, or they tell me read a book, I go read it. You know what I mean? Even if I'm like, I only got 2 things from this book, but you said read it, I read it. And them 2 things was helpful for me. So I would just say be a student. And then, you know, it is about, you know, having the right, like, you gotta have it's a gut thing too, being an entrepreneur. So you gotta feel it, but it's gotta be educated. You know what I mean? It's gotta be wisdom with that gut move. Like, yo, this feel like a good idea, but you got some wisdom to back that up. Is what you gotta have. No, I love it. All right, so let's get a little bit into some of your business, right? And so, you know, being, you know, selling 3 million records, being you know, platinum artist. What would you say is the most extravagant thing you've done with money? Extravagant? Yeah. I spend money on experiences. So I'm not really like a physical purchaser. Like, I gotta get the jewels or whatever. It's mostly experiences. So I'm trying to think of like an experience that was like, yo, we really went there. Man, it was something I know we had just done something that I was thinking of. We left the country. I'm trying to remember where we went. And we did some. I know a lot of experiences. It's a lot of experiences. But a case in point, I'll tell you, like, I took a bunch of friends to Cabo. You know what I mean? And it was like, let's make this a great experience. You know, what does that look like? All right, we're gonna boat. We gonna have a nice place to stay. We gonna eat well. We gonna get massage people to come through. And these is all my friends. And I said, all y'all gotta do is get here. I'll take care of everything else. Just get here. And for me, it was like, I got to give them an experience they otherwise wouldn't have had. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's experiences. I wanna, kids, Tokyo. I took my wife to Tokyo for my birthday. I was like, we're going to Tokyo. You know what I mean? It's just, I do it on experience, because memories last a lifetime. You know what I mean? And then, so what on that vein though, what is the most impactful thing you've done with money? I would say for me that I know right now is Peace Preparatory Academy is a school in English Ave, because that was me investing pretty much like a big chunk of money. It was like, yo, this is all. I had one property, and that was all the bread I had, and I was like, we gonna put it toward this, and that was 5 years ago, and now we have a whole school with K through 5, you know what I'm saying? And so it was just kindergartners 5 years ago. Then it was first graders. Then it was second, third, fourth. Now it's 5. And I'm like, man, every time if I write a check to them, like I know it's going toward a place that's.
I love the name though, Peace Preparatory Academy.
Peace Prep.
Yeah,
Shalom,
I love that.
baby.
Shalom. I love it. All right, and so, there's somebody right now that has, they have the side hustle, right? 9 to 5. They want to be an entrepreneur. Any advice for the side hustler?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a plan that you can execute. You know what I'm saying? Nothing happens without a plan. Yeah. Like, what's your plan? What's your vision? And then reverse engineer it. That's what I do all the time. I reverse engineer my life. I try to do it like every year and just go somewhere, spend a couple days and reverse engineer. Where do you want to be in 5 years? All right, how you going to get there? You know what I'm saying? So work backwards. And so like one thing I said, like, even like with my wife, I'm married, and I was like, yo, how are we going to make sure that we have a healthy intimacy, healthy relationship? We reverse engineer it. All right, what we're going to do is this night we going out. You know what I'm saying? This month we doing this. This year we doing this to make sure we build that connection. Yeah. And you want to do that with your business or your entrepreneur. It's like, all right, so I want to be in, I don't know, commercial real estate. All right, so I'm gonna reverse engineer that in 3 years. So this month I'm gonna take these classes, then I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna study with this, I'm gonna make sure I read these books, work backwards, and you'll look up and be like, yo, I'm here.
No, I love it. All right, so it's our lightning round. So we inside the vault, and what we do is take bank terms and then, kind of flip those bank terms into, what we do here. And so the first term we're gonna do is deposit slip, right? A deposit slip, you walk into the bank, you put, you fill it out, you put the money in the bank. But for us, deposit slip is a mistake, right? Is a slip up with money. So talk to me about your biggest deposit slip.
I think for me, now I'll let you know this, I'm frugal. I'm not really like a spendthrift like that. So it may not seem like a lot to folks, but to me, it was a slip up. And it was buying designer sunglasses.
Okay.
And the reason why is because every pair of designer sunglasses I have bought, I have lost or broken. And I just feel like, yo, if I calculate the amount of money that I have lost with designer sunglasses, like I know like I could have a nice investment, a piece of investment capital right there. You know what I'm saying? I remember going to the Louis store. I was in LA, I bought some Louis glasses. I'll never forget this. There was like a band for some glasses. I put them on my face. I went to this venue. I had to do a performance. I went to the bathroom in the venue. They had these toilets that that flush themselves, right? As soon as you move, they flush themselves. So I'm using the bathroom, my glasses fall off my face in the toilet. I stand up, I'm like, yo! A band gone.
Wow.
And I was like, that was my last time buying them. I said, I'm not buying designer shades no more. Like, you better gift them to me or something. But like, I feel like that's been my craziest deposit slip where I'm like, yo, I'm done. Like, this is out of control, like every time.
Wow. Next term we got is charge off, right? And so charge off, bank lends you some money, you don't pay it back, and they charge you off. For us inside the vault, charge off is people or mindsets that you had to charge off during your journey.
That I had to I can't do it. Yeah, for me it's like people who spend my money like it's like never ending. You know what I'm saying? So when you have like I had I won't mention any names, but a particular person working for me, and it just would turn into like, oh, we need to get this, we need to get that, we need to get this for the show, and their mindset was like, well, we got it, just get it. Well, we got it, just get it. Well, we got it, just get it. And I'm like, yo, you didn't even investigate to see. Like, the reason why wealthy people stay wealthy is because they don't waste money. You know what I'm saying? So you just throwing away money on stuff that could have been like, we didn't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be little stuff too, like you know, I don't know, like randomness, we gonna do a car service from the airport, Uber.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just paid $1,000, we got it.
Right.
Might as well. Then I don't have to think about it no more. What?
You
know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you just you blowing money. I don't got time for that.
Right. How do you deal with that? So, like, you know, as somebody who, you know, didn't grow up wealthy, grew up in, you know, in the neighborhoods, have, you know, folks that are in the streets that you know, connect with. How do you deal with, you know, people looking at you like an ATM or looking at you like, you know, yo, I know Lecrae, so I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, I stopped that early on. I was like, yo, send me the bill. Because most people want money, but they won't send you the bill. I'm like, you hurting?
Yeah.
Send me the bill.
Yeah.
Because it's a difference. And then they be like, well, I don't really,
Yeah.
I'm like, you not hurting and you want money.
Right.
Send me the bill. But most people got over that when I'm like, yo, it's a process. I put people through a process because it's not going to just be here. I'm like, all right, you need to deal with my financial advisor. Here's my accountant. This is how this is going to work. This is what this is going to look like. This is what this is going to look like, because I'm not finna just be that. I'm like, yeah, no problem, man. Just hit my assistant.
Right.
And if you're willing to go through all the work and the scrutiny to get this, then you really need it. You know what I'm saying? And that's really how we end that. We deaded that quick.
Okay. Love it. I'm taking notes. Next word or last one is trust account, right? And so trust account is where you take the assets, you put them in the trust account to preserve your legacy and help take your wealth to the next level. But for us inside the vault, trust account is, you know, the mindset or the people that you trust to kind of, you know, build that legacy, get to that next level.
Yeah, I heard Oprah say something that was potent, man. She said the reason why her and Gail are so tight is because Gail could breathe the air no matter how high Oprah rose. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like my friends who can breathe the air, them is the ones I keep around me. You know what I mean? Because there's some people who've been there, who've been day one.
Yeah.
And I love them, man. That's cool. And we still rock with each other. But some of them day ones can't breathe the air of different environments. And so the ones who can breathe the air, come on. I'm gonna work with you to change your whole life, and then we gonna be changing each other's lives. You know what I'm saying? So case in point, I started a film production company, and one of my partners that I came up with for years from Detroit, he started cutting his teeth as a director. And I was like, yo, I'm about to start this film production company and you gonna be my business partner. You know what I'm saying? And so now he's running it, and now he's getting opportunities that's coming to me because he's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? So I invested in him, but then now he's reinvesting in me and stuff that I otherwise wouldn't have had access to. But it's because when I would bring him around, he could breathe the air. It wasn't nothing to him. He was like, oh, okay, that's what we doing. All right, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, you not doing that, I'm not doing. What we doing? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna ask for no pictures from you around celebrities. I ain't ask for no pictures. Cool. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, keep running.
Yeah. And so talk a little bit about that. Like why did you start a film company? Because of your homeboy, or you had a different desire? Nah,
what happened was people kept asking me to be in films and to like support films, and like, I want to do a biopic on your career, and you know, let's do like it's 8 Mile because you really are from hip hop, but then you had to rise through the ranks as a Christian type of vibe. And I was like, yo, I'm making y'all, all these Hollywood dudes, money. I could do this myself, honestly, if I just put together the right team. So I knew I didn't have the time and capacity to run it. So when I saw my friend doing it, then we linked up. We started 3 Strand Films, and you know, we are now 4 projects down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Dope. I love it. And that's cool. That's dope because, like, you know, when we talk about legacy, financial literacy, wealth, it's like everything you're doing is attached to wealth, right? So you think about intellectual property, music lives forever. You think about your thoughts and things you want people to learn. You write a book, lives forever. You know, film and documents and things, that lives forever. And then there's that ownership. How important is ownership? You know?
Ownership is everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I put it like this, like, ownership is everything from the standpoint of of like being able to use it in the way you want to use it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't add anything to you. So I think a lot of people get it misconstrued. Like it doesn't add value to you as a person.
Yeah.
You fearfully and wonderfully made. Your worth and value is infinite before you ever owned anything.
Yeah.
But what ownership does is it gives you more flexibility because money's a tool.
Right.
If you own or control how that tool is manufactured and created and where it goes, then you have more flexibility to do what you want to do. And so that's more so what ownership is for me. It's being able to say, I'm not controlled by somebody else's agenda, somebody else's ideas. I can do what I want to do, how I want to do it, that best suits the needs of the folks that I'm trying to connect with.
Yeah, no, I love that. I know this is supposed to be lightning round, but I got more questions. But when you as somebody who frugal, love experiences, investing in the community, schools, philanthropy, ownership. How do you invest your money though? What kind of investments do you have that help grow your money?
Yeah, well, one is you're always in the people business. No matter what business you're in the people business. Yeah. So if you take care of people or you figure out how to take care of people, then people will take care of you. Yeah. So one of the things that one way I had to figure out, like I was doing like different type of investments, but I didn't understand the tech world. You know what I'm saying? So I was talking to Millionaire, one of my buddies from Texas, from Houston, and I mean he's deep in, like neck deep in that tech world. So I'm talking with him, I'm getting insight, but at the same time, it's still a big learning curve. So I got with some folks locally in Atlanta, Jewel Solomon Burks, and she was, giving me insight and telling me where I could go and who to meet. And then she was also like, yo, we're starting up a fund called Collab, which is invest in founders, and so basically it was like, this was a way for me to learn tech and invest with in black founders, but at the same time, it's more protected and it's like you got people already at the helm of it who understand tech more than I do. You know what I mean? So what that enabled me to do was to use my influence to spread it out across different types of investments. You know what I'm saying? And so we raised 50 mil for different founders, and now as they grow, that comes back to us. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. So, but for me, investing is really like, I would tell most people, I would say, man, invest in what you know about. What you know about, what you're passionate about. The best investment I ever made was in my record label. You know what I'm saying? Because I know the music industry, I understand it, and investing in artists and publishing and all that type of stuff, like I get it. So it's an easy investment. Yeah, no, I love that. And I love what you said about like investing in people, and what you've done with Collab is like, all right, here's some money. We're gonna put money into black tech. Right, because that's something that people don't really talk about, the disparity there is in tech. It's like what, 2%, 1% black? 1%. Like it's 1%, 1% black. But when you think about wealth, like that could literally change the trajectory of our community. Facts. And so to be able to say, hey, I'm gonna take my money. And I'm gonna invest it in a fund, right? So Collab is a fund, right? I'm gonna invest this in a fund that's going to invest in black founders. So now we can have a seat at the table. Yeah, man, that's huge. Out of control. Huge. I love it, man. It's super dope to see it happen, and why not? In Atlanta, it's like makes perfect sense. Yeah, especially because I know that Atlanta has a big black tech. Like this is the hub, right? So they got Silicon Valley, we got Atlanta. Trilicon. Right, Trilicon, right? All right, cool. So one last, this lightning round went long, but one last thing, right? I'm gonna throw out this word, ATM. Yeah. ATM, is the automated teller machine. You put your card in, you get the money out. Yeah. But you've been dropping so much bars on us today. For us, ATM is another teachable moment. Okay. Right. So give us
give us one last gem, one last jewel, another teachable moment from Lecrae.
Oh man, no pressure. Huh?
No pressure.
No pressure, huh? Man, I mean, I guess end of the day, this is what I would say. Your passion is not always gonna be your paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And so I think a lot of folks got to realize that, like do what you're passionate about, but do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because your passion may not be your paycheck. Like for a long time, I had to work, a regular job until what I was doing really did provide for me. But then you may only have a window. You know what I mean? Everybody you ain't gonna be an NFL or NBA athlete forever. So you have a window. So I would just say, man, make smart decisions now with everything you got going on. And then I say all that to say this, because your passion may not be your paycheck, that like passion and purpose are connected. You know what I'm saying? So you're made with a purpose. I know a lot of folks, I don't know what people believe out there, but if you think you just a bunch of random molecules or a cosmic accident, then you don't have any purpose. You just cells. Yeah. But if you believe you have purpose, then why wouldn't you tap into the creator to really flesh that out? Why wouldn't you tap in and say, all right, I'm here for a reason. Like, let me really tap into that and flesh that out. And that's how come I know, I'm here to bring peace because I tapped in. And now, like, I wake up every day, like, excited about, all right, how do I do that today? Yeah. So.
My brother, this was powerful. Listen, Lecrae, man, if you didn't get a lot of gems, jewels from this interview, I don't know what you was watching. You probably went to sleep. You probably was on Instagram. So listen, go back, rewind this. A lot of gems. Lecrae, if somebody wanted to connect with you, they wanted to just tap in more. Where can they find you?
Follow me. I'll take you somewhere. Instagram at Lecrae, Lecrae. Twitter. I'm on Facebook too, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm where every age group and demographic exists.
Right. Facts. All right, y'all. We are closing the vault. Another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. Make sure you follow us at Inside the Vault. Follow me at I Am Ash Cash. And I'll see y'all next time on the greatest money mindset show on the planet. I am Ash Cash. I'll see you next time, same place, in God's will. Peace.
Oh yeah. You want Ash Cash, you can catch it right here in the ball.